Hello, Matthew here, Nola Nerd Podcast, here at Wizard World Comic Con 2012, talking to the one and the only Rob Guillory of Chew fame. And how are you enjoying yourself so far?
Good. I'm a little tired, but so far so good.
I mean, that's what happens when it's Sunday and all the energy is drained out of you from Saturday.
I'm absolutely done. We have 3 hours left. I'm looking forward to the drive home.
I can imagine. What I like about you, though, is you're local. And since this is our con, how are you enjoying it as a whole?
It's good. I mean, I didn't. There were no cons here growing up. I mean, there was. I guess there was Big Easy Con at some point. I never went to it. It's just easy. I live 2 hours from here, so there is no flying or any of that stuff. It's awesome.
Are you so your book Chew? That's clearly your big breakout success. I mean, I know you probably get asked this a lot, like what's it like working with John Layman. So I'm just gonna assume it's good because you are still doing it. So I'm gonna ask something a little odder because I think that's more fun. Has there ever been a time, because you guys deal with a lot of odd, cool concepts in terms of the different people with food powers?
Right.
Have you ever thought of one and been like, hey, could we use this? Have you ever come up with any ideas?
Oh yeah. More so I initially just asked questions in the first however many issues, but now I throw out a lot more stuff. In the issue 31 thing, I pretty much came up with the case. He has writer's block every now and again. Usually he gets really drunk and wakes up at 3 a.m. with the entire thing figured out. But I just had an idea of I don't want to spoil it. It's really, really funny. I came up with a couple other things too, one of which it involves farts, which actually fits very well with the tone of Chew. So yeah, I throw stuff out there all the time.
That's awesome because sometimes writers are very protective and demanding, so they don't let you have any input.
Well, I think John appreciates it because he knows I'm invested in this. It's our thing. So he's cool. I mean, usually I just ask him outright, what do you think about this? And sometimes he'd be like, that's a horrible idea. Other times he's like, that's really funny. We're using that. I mean, we're very, very open collaboration.
And you can tell, because you can tell in the work when there's a creative team that works well together.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have egos. I mean, we kind of, working the way we do, where it's so back and forth, it doesn't, you forget who came up with what because we just work together so well.
And so how much have you been asked, or how much do you even enjoy drawing super death chickens all the time?
I'm all right with it. I mean, there are worse jobs, I guess. It's cool. I mean, our fans for the most part are pretty normal. I don't get a lot of crazy, weird stuff. And I've kind of established a reputation as being pretty brutally honest, to where if I just want to do something, I'm not going to do it. People have asked me to do things, I'm not, sorry. But for the most part, it's cool.
That's awesome. I mean, and I just really like the fact that you actually took the time, especially since you're on the downward spiral of the con time. So thank you very much. We wanted to keep it short. It's really awe-inspiring, I guess is the word, because I never knew that you were local when I first started reading it. So being an uptown kid, hearing that you're just a couple hours away, we don't get much talent locally here anymore.
Well, I think the thing is there's talent here. It's just that, and we just actually, me and Cody Chamberlain, who's another local artist, we just had, we did a panel a second ago about breaking into comics without breaking ties with your town. And I think the problem locally is the press is so, they're kind of detached. I mean, it's gotten to the point now where even after Chew's had success, I can send a press release out to a newspaper locally and say hey, I got a book coming out, could you maybe tell people about it? And I can't even get an email return, but I can email a newspaper in New Zealand and they'll run it. It's kind of ridiculous. So I mean, there is a local scene. It's just it's hard to get awareness locally. And I think it's, what is it, no prophet is recognized in his own town, which I'm not saying I'm a prophet, but no one gets local love ever. It's really, really weird, but it's just how it is. But there is a lot of local talent, especially now, in the last 5 years, there's a lot of local guys kind of coming up that are doing really cool stuff. There's a guy over here that his name's Jason Bienvenue, who's from Lafayette, from where I'm from, who's totally like gonna make it. I mean, he's doing the work. The guy Burton Duran, who's right down the road, drove up with us from Lafayette, and he's like awesome, and he's gonna do it. Guy Ross Thibodeau, who again, good friend of mine, drove up with us, up and coming writer, like Lafayette. I mean, it's happening. It's, you know.
So what you're saying is Lafayette's the hot spot, and
I think so. Actually, I really do. New Orleans is cool, and I know people here that are doing stuff, but I think, from my experience, like there's something going on in Lafayette that, like, yeah, there's something there.
that's awesome. I mean, so we just have 2 quick follow-up questions for you that we like to ask everyone. Has nothing to do with your work, so feel free to be brutally honest. Your trademark: sharks or dolphins?
Sharks.
Good choice. And finally, cake or pie?
Pie.
Awesome. See, my co-host and I, we have a running thing going on where he's pro cake and pro dolphin,
Right.
and I'm pro shark and pro pie, and we asked that for everyone, and I have won by a fucking landslide. It's fantastic.
Sharks are okay. I mean, sharks are awesome. Dolphins, you know, it's cool, but like they don't have anything sharp. There's nothing to cut things with. There's no movies, as far as I know, made for dolphins. I mean, there's Flipper, but like whatever, right?
Quite the same.
And I mean, with the pie issue, I mean, I love cake, don't get me wrong. But like, there's something about pie, man. I think it's the crunchy crust.
It is.
Something there.
He likes to throw out, there's no such thing as a birthday pie, and I'm like, but there's no such thing as a pizza cake, so you can go either way.
Fair enough. I don't think those things make any sense together. I mean, there's no correlation.
Right.
But yeah, I get you.
And lastly, is there anything that you want to tell people about where they can find your work, where they can follow you, any social media ties you'd like people to keep in touch with?
Yeah, I'm super limited on social media just because I think some of it's creepy. I was on Facebook, but I got off because there's some weirdos on there. So I got off of there. I'm on Twitter. It's at Rob_Guillory. And that's pretty much it. And I have my website, it's robguillory.com, that I post at barely ever. It's pretty sad, actually. If you go to it, you would probably think I quit. And chewcomic.com for the comic stuff. And that's pretty much it.
So you don't recommend having people drive up to Lafayette to meet you in person?
You never find me. I mean, like, really. I mean, like I said, there's like, and it's me and Cody joke about this, that we're like Bigfoot. Like, we had an artist come up in town, Brent Peoples, who draws Last of the Greats for Image Comics. And he went to a bar, and this really cute girl comes up on the side of him and is like, hey, what do you do? And Brent's like, I draw comics. And she said, really? You know, somebody said there's this really popular comic artist that works in town. I think his name's Rob, maybe? It's like, but no one really knows, like, we're there. We're like friggin' Bigfoot. So, yeah, you'll never find me.
Well, thank you. And I really hope that you two work together for a while, because this has been one of my favorite indie books. Just kind of came out of nowhere for me personally. So I'm really excited. So thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.